Hey guys, so today's video is going to be an unboxing and I guess also a setup of the Ziss brine shrimp blender, I believe they call it. It's in this box right here. It just came. I was actually boxing up packages to go out, different orders, and I got the knock on the door and it just came. So let's go ahead and get this thing unboxed and see what you get with it and how I'm going to set it up. And basically, hopefully you guys can start doing your own brine shrimp as well. And up until this point, I've been just using a water bottle, and I didn't need this. I just wanted it. I wanted to give it a try, see what the fuss is about, if it is something that's worth the money, or should you just stick to a water bottle, a pop bottle, stuff like that. So let's get into it. Guys, just a side note, I did buy this myself. This is not a sponsored video by any means. At the time of this video, this blender is, I believe, $45. But here's the box, and let's get it out and see everything that comes with it and get it going. Okay, so here's what it comes with. So you have the container itself, a stand, you have a hard air line. This is the knob that goes into the bottom of the container. This is what lets the flow of the brine shrimp come out. Looks like we have a Ziss air stone, a pipette, a spare O-ring, a air valve, and a thermometer. There is no air line included with this kit, nor an air pump. And also note that you're gonna have to heat this. I plan on using this in my fish room, which is air heated, but you could hang this in a tank or put a small heater in it, like a nano heater. And that's why they give you the thermometer. There's no instructions that come with it. There was nothing in the box, any kind of papers. On the outside, there are pictures, I guess, to help kind of show you what's going on, like right here. And it tells you heater and air line not included. And it comes with Ziss valve and pipette, but that's really about it. I guess to use this product, you need to know how it works. And looking at the picture, they're showing that through this lid, you can put a standard heater right through here and it holds it. So that's nice that for people that don't have a fish room, you can put a heater in this quite easily. And here's air line in from the top. And honestly, I gotta kind of play with this and see what all these holes are for. I'm guessing maybe this might be for the thermometer. Let's look at the picture. Yeah, so the picture, okay, so the spare O-ring, so that guy is for the thermometer. So really, with no instructions, you just gotta look at this picture and kind of figure it out. Let's go ahead and get this thing set up with some eggs. Before we set this thing up with eggs, I want to show you guys. So here's the thermometer. It's glass, so be careful with this. It comes in a little protective case. But anyways, I just slid this O-ring over it, and basically it drops into this hole. And there's a little lip. There's these little tabs in there that the O-ring sits on to hold this in there. So that's how that works. So you guys can, you know, jump right on that and know how that works. All right, we're on my fish room. Instead of using the stand like on a desk or a table that you can definitely use that. I'm actually using the cinder blocks on my racks. This thing fits perfectly through the hole on the rack, and then I can just hang it there. I don't know if I'm gonna leave it here on the end because normally I hang my fish nets right here, but I might put it over here. Get my hand towel out of the way. Well, maybe not on this one because the tank's in the way. I'd have to tilt that pretty hard. You know, I can put it up there. There's other things you can do if you have a 2x4. You could like drill a hole, like on this 2x4, it's open. I could drill a hole and have it go down. If the 2x4 is vertical, you could hook onto it. But the other thing that I might do, actually, let me do that now. It's this idea, it's gonna be easier to show you and then talk about. So let me do something real quick. All right, that was all 10 seconds. So basically what I did is I screwed in I believe these are called like tube straps or tube clamps. Basically these guys, and what I have these laying around. I use it to hold my piping in my fish room, right? So there's a clamp, there's a clamp, you know, there's some, right? This thing fits perfectly. This is for 3/4 inch PVC. Drops right in, holds it, and the reason why I want to do that, super easy to remove, right? Just pop it out. This is the air line from my central air pump down there, right? So I got all my filters running off this one air line. Perfect location. I can add another tap. I'm using drip emitters basically to tap. This was supposed to be a temporary air line, and it's been up here for months now. I was going to do a PVC hard line across the top. Never got to it, but these are drip emitters. I literally just take a drill bit, do a little hole. These are barbed fit. They pop in, and it allows me to add as many air lines as I want super easily, right? Anyways, this is where I think I want to keep it. It's just at the end of the rack, super easy. And let's move forward. So the first thing I did is I took the hard tubing that came with it and I stuck it on the airline nipple on the bottom side of the lid. So what that's going to do is when you put the lid on, it pushes the air down to the bottom. And I don't know if you're supposed to run the Ziss Airstone on that. I know with the brine shrimp hatchery that I made, I don't run an Airstone. I just run the regular bubbles, and it's plenty enough. So I'm going to add a tap right here. I'm going to use the Ziss airline valve that it came with and get air to this. And then next up will be some salt water. Here's another little cool thing that this doubles as a holder for the lid. I mean, I'm trying to be careful. I don't want to break anything off, but it holds the lid, so I don't have to set this down or mess with it while I'll have this in my hand. And I'm thinking I'll be able to carry this around, maybe put a little tube on there, and I can just go tank to tank and feed some newly hatched baby brine. So far I like the concept of this a lot. And it does feel like a quality product. But I want to get some brine shrimp in here. So let me go make some salt water. Well, I found a use for the stand. I'm going to leave the stand here in my kitchen because this is where I will mix the salt water. I'll be able to use the stand to hold this while I'm doing my mixing. And then I'll use the clamp in the rack to actually hold this to hatch everything. So there is a use for the stand, and if you guys don't have a rack system and you don't want to mount this onto anything, the stand will work for you. Alright, so I filled this thing up with water out of the fish room. This is warm water, well, it's room temperature to the fish room. It runs through a whole house carbon block filter, so there's no chlorine in it. And the salt I use for my brine shrimp, I buy it by like the 50-pound bags. This is the Instant Ocean. This is also because I had a saltwater tank. If you're only doing brine shrimp, you can buy like 1-pound bags of salt. I sell it on my website, 614fish.com. And that one bag will last you a while. Like I said, I bought the big bag over there because I actually used to have a saltwater tank, and I'm just using up the rest of it. But I'm going to go ahead and add salt to this water. This is the brine shrimp eggs I've been using forever. They come from aquaticfoods.com, and on the back it's kind of got some instructions. It says mix 1 2/3 tablespoons of rock salt. I use the actual saltwater aquarium salt per quart, approximately 1 liter. And the other thing that I have, which I would recommend if you want to try to get this right, at least at the beginning if you've never done this, this is a salinity meter. You look through it and you can see what the salinity level of your water is. I'm used to using this Fiji bottle to hatch brine shrimp. It's really old. This is the very first one I made. It's all scratched up and, you know, it's dirty. I don't know off the top of my head how much salt to put into this without testing it. So just go off the directions. If your brine shrimp eggs come with them, and I'm just going to add salt until I hit the desired level of 25 parts per million. All right, so I just grabbed a USB air pump. I sell these nano pumps on my website. They just run off a little USB port. And here's what I found use for the air stone it came with. Being that I have that lid out in the fish room and it's got the line already hooked up, I'm going to run this basically to mix the salt. And the stone's weighted, so it's going to keep it at the bottom. And I guess I could even, well, let me see how this does. I'm gonna let this run for a minute and see if it helps dissolve the salt in there. I was just thinking I could hook up an air line to that valve and run the air straight up the middle, and that would really get the salt flowing. Okay, I won't be able to hook up a standard air line because this tube that comes out the bottom is definitely it's double the size of a standard airline like nipple. So I just put the air stone all the way down and it's moving the salt a little bit. It'd be cool if I could, you know, hook an airline directly to this, because then it would force all that salt up into the column. But we're gonna let it run and see how long it takes to dissolve. I probably should have put the air stone in and then slowly added the salt to it versus dumping it all in and then adding the air stone, because it'll probably dissolve quicker the other way. But we're gonna let this thing run and then we'll check the salinity level and go from there. All right, the salt's pretty much dissolved. I did shorten my air line and hung the USB air pump on the container, just to make life a little bit easier. I'm gonna go ahead and take a salinity reading and see where we're at. All right, so I just took a reading. We're about 24 parts per million. I target 25, but once I get within a 1 part per million, I stop, because there's probably still a little bit of salt that needs to dissolve into the water. So we're good as far as the salinity. I did try to take a picture of it. I will put the picture in the video, and it's basically looking through here. What you see, you just basically take a drop of the salt water, you set it on this lens, you close the cap, and then you look through. There's a graph, and the blue is there's a line that's blue that moves up and down depending on what the salinity level is. Very easy to use. You are supposed to calibrate this, and to be honest with you guys, I have never calibrated it, and I used it for well over a year with the saltwater tank with no issues. And there's other tools to measure salinity in water that you can check out online. That's just what I use. Anyways, this should be ready. I'm going to move this back out to the fish room, and then we'll put some brine shrimp eggs in it. All right, I put the brine shrimp eggs, I just dropped them through this hole. You can see they're floating. Some are kind of settling down. I'm going to go ahead and turn the air on to it, hopefully. There we go. And I'm guessing they give you that air stone to put on the bottom of this to give you really fine air bubbles. I'm going to try it just like this, see how it does when I'm going to put the air stone on it and see if it's better or worse. That's basically all I had in my pop bottle, and it worked perfectly fine. But you know, it might be better, but I can already tell it's getting really good flow through there. You can see it, it's definitely moving around. But one thing I like about having a small amount of bubbles versus like an air stone that's pumping air through is that every time this bubble pops, it usually shoots eggs onto the side. So I kind of like the less is more type saying, so we'll give this a shot. But I mean, they're definitely circulating. I did put quite a bit in there. I normally do like 3 scoops in my 1 liter bottle. This is 2 liters. I end up doing, I think, 5 or 6 scoops, but we'll see how it works. And this will be tomorrow. 24 hours will come out and we'll see what it looks like. All right, guys, it's been just under 48 hours. I didn't have a chance to mess with this yesterday. I'm gonna go ahead and turn the air off and see how this looks. There's definitely a ton of baby brine in there. So I have this sweet light. It's a clip-on LED light that's round with a hole. I was like, man, it'd be perfect to put right here, have it shine straight up. Can't find it. I might go look one more time, but I'm gonna grab my flashlight, stick it on here, and we'll see what we got. All right, guys, I found the light. It took me a while. I think I bought this off Amazon. I probably bought that light like 3 years ago. It's supposed to be like this little clip light that could grow like tomato plants and stuff indoors. Definitely, I don't think would grow anything because it's not very powerful. But it does have a clip. I clipped it to my cinder block. But what I like is that it's got a hole. So I just push it up and over. And let me see if I can get I don't know if I can get a good video of this. The brine shrimp are definitely going down towards that light. I turned off the overhead light in the room. There is a lot of ambience light in this room, but there's definitely, come on, see if I can focus. It's not wanting to focus very well. But it does seem to work. Alright, so I'm gonna see about getting some of the brine shrimp out of this thing. Look how thick that is, guys. This is just a water glass I grabbed. I couldn't hold the camera, hold the glass, and open the valve all at the same time, but I didn't really release that much. So it's definitely pretty easy. Let's go feed some fish. All right, this is my 29-gallon no-filter aquarium. It's running an Airstone, which is over there in that corner. Mixed guppies. This is what I call my mutt guppy tank. Ton of fry. And there's algae on the glass. I don't scrape this tank. I just let it go. It's all natural. Algae helps with the tank and everything, so I just let it go. Anyways, let's put some baby brine into this tank. I'm using a pipette. I don't know if this is the one that came with it or if this is just one of the ones I had in my fish room. But let's suck some out. So here we go. And I don't think these guppies have ever had live baby brine before. See the mama, she's really going after them. But after feeding these guys a few times with it, they'll realize what it is and then they'll go nuts. I've definitely used brine before, baby brine, newly hatched, for fish, and they always love it. Put some more in this tank. Yep, and there goes the dog. Alright, let's go feed something else. Alright guys, I know there's a reflection, there's not much I can do about it right now, but here's a tank with some killifish. Ooh, the pufferfish will love, well, I mean this is a small treat for him. He likes adults. That might be a waste on him, I don't know, we'll see. flip around. Here's some guppies. This tank's got a ton of fry. Definitely see the green cobra genes coming out in some of these fish. This tank up here's got CPDs. They would love this. And I know people rinse their brine shrimp off. This is salt water. I do water changes to where I'm not worried about like the salinity level going up. And salt itself, it's got minerals that are actually beneficial to the plants and to the fish. So I don't rinse mine. This has some baby guppies in it. Now this tank's got harlequins and it's got the Vienna guppies from Aquarium Co-op in it. I'll make sure it gets a decent amount. Goes one of the Vienna guppy females. She's looking fat and sassy. Alright, I harvest most of it. I think what I'm going to do is grab my brine shrimp net, run the rest of this through it. Alright, draining the rest of this down. That's a brine shrimp net just into a glass. Just want to show you how I'm doing this. I'm going to have to put this camera down so I can open up this valve more and get it really going. I'm going to do this and see what I get. Alright, so sifting it out. There's still, I mean, there's definitely still live brine in there still. I'm not really too worried about what's left, but definitely sifting out even when you think you're about done. There's still quite a bit in there. And yeah, so I'll find a tank, put these guys in. I think I'm going, after I clean this, I'm going to set it back up. And then I'll use the next batch to feed the outdoor pond. I think the fry out there would really love some brine shrimp. Alright guys, my next batch is done, ready for me to feed the fish room. This is going to be the end of this video because I don't need to keep hatching the brine shrimp out and showing you guys. Anyways, my thoughts on this, it's super easy. I've been using a water bottle for, I guess, years now, and it is easy. It's 45 bucks. Would I recommend it? I would. It is like durable. It does seem, I mean, granted, I've only had it for a few days now, but I like it. It's a good product. It's worth having. I like that I can hang it. It just makes it easier for me to hatch, and I like the volume, and I think it just works perfect with this light that I got. I just turn off the overhead lights, let it settle for a minute, and then it's good to go. But the flow is really, really good, and what I noticed is with my bottle being that smaller diameter, the bubbles would shoot eggs up onto the side. And right now you can see eggs up here. These are the shells. I noticed that I don't really have that issue with the this one. So that's a bonus for sure. But it gets a thumbs up from me, guys. But anyways, I hope this video was helpful as far as how I'm using it in my fish room. If you like the video and you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. And if you want to see more content, hit the notification bell. But anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.